Ronda Rousey appreciates that every now and again when UFC starts building a massive card, her name still comes up for a potential comeback. The latest instance was UFC 300. As the promotion promised the biggest event in history, there were seemingly millions of rumors swirling about what kind of a rabbit Dana White might pull out of his hat. Rousey's name somehow ended up being mentioned as a candidate, but White admitted very openly that she was never even in consideration because the former bantamweight champion was happy raising her family in retirement. Despite her last UFC appearance happening almost 8 years ago, Rousey enjoys that her name still comes up from time to time, but she promises there's no chance she's ever fighting again. Every couple years, the same rumor comes out, Rousey told the Insight podcast. It's nice to feel missed, I guess. But it's not happening. I'm not neurologically fit to compete anymore at the highest level. I just can't. You just get to a level where the neurological injuries you take accumulate over time. They don't get better. As she was recently promoting her autobiography, Rousey said repeated concussions that began when she was still a child played the biggest factor in her MMA career coming to an end. Rousey said she never addressed the situation publicly because she was still actively competing, and even after she left UFC, she didn't want to potentially risk her future in WWE after transitioning into professional wrestling. But, she said, eventually the symptoms she suffered as a result of so many concussions forced Rousey to walk away from full-time competition. When I got into MMA, I had already had dozens of concussions that I trained through, Rousey said. Like, not even stopped for. So that was about a decade of having concussion symptoms more often than not. So when I got into MMA, I was playing a game of zero errors. Then it got to the point where I was fighting more often than anybody. I had more outside of fighting responsibilities than anybody, and it just got to be lighter and lighter hits were hurting me more and more and more.